is that locker room, sharing that with the people that you love.
Whew, we could not get enough of that game last night. Shannon, was it an instant classic?
It was an instant classic, and Sean McVay is not old enough to have a beverage, Skip Bayless, so he needs to go into bed with that bottle of water. Skip, this was as good a Monday night game as I've seen, and I've been watching Monday Night Football for a very long time. It takes me back, and you probably covered this game, but the game that I think about was the 1982 Monday night game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the San Diego Chargers.
I didn't cover it, but I watched it.
Okay, when Dan Fouts outgunned Kenny Anderson, both quarterbacks threw for over 400 yards. Yep. It was a 50-84 ball game, 50-84, 50-34 ball game. And actually, in that game, they had more combined yards than what they had in this game. Wes Chandler went bonkers, over 200 yards, just like Tyreek Hill. Kellen Winslow, the great Hall of Fame tight end, went for over 100. Just like Travis Kelce. And Collinsworth for the Bengals went over 100 yards. But, Skip, I think in order for you to have a classic, the game has to have suspense. And it needs to go back and forth. Okay, Kansas City spots the Rams 13 points. They claw their way back in it. And now here we go, back and forth. 10 total touchdowns. And at the end of the day, you're like, man, look at all these points. First time in NFL history that both teams score over 50 points in a ball game. And you're like, man, this is what's wrong with the NFL, man, all this offense. And then when you just think it's all offense, Aaron Donald, strip sack, scoop and score. And then you get Ekubon, pick six, touchdown. And then you get Justin Houston for the other side, strip sack, touchdown. It was just enough defense that the NFL can say, look, you still can play defense. You still can get in there and take the ball away from the opposing team without landing your body weight on them, without hitting them in the knee. And so, Skip, with the back and forth with Patrick Mahomes was as good. The next play, Cook catches it, goes for about 20, and off to the races they go. But, Skip, this was an instant classic. This is what the NFL wanted. This is what fans like. They like offense. Well, if you like offense, you don't get any better than this. Two young guns going head-to-head. But this should remove all doubt. If anybody, any organization, thinking about hiring a head coach, the last person you should call is Jeff Fisher. Because he had you thinking that Jared Goff was a bust. I feel comfortable in saying, Skip Bayless, I think Jeff Fisher might have ruined a bunch of careers at the quarterback position.
I know he ruined Vince Young.
Okay, I'm not so sure Steve McNair couldn't have got more out of his career. Rest his soul.
I'm buying that. Rest his soul.
So, with what we know now with Jared Goff, Skip, you see why the Rams took him #1 overall. He flat out played. It went back and forth, and this was an instant classic in my opinion.
Okay, it is now time for the Grinch who stole Thanksgiving. You cannot have an instant classic when the losing quarterback gives the winning team 21 points on 3 tumultuous turnovers, including a pick six and a scoop and score touchdown. It's time for some unadulterated truth here, because you cannot have an instant classic when the losing quarterback in the last minute and a half of a shootout throws 2 awful interceptions that end the game for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I am here to say, obviously, Patrick Mahomes made some big-time throws last night, lots of them. But the NFL's best weapons, including the most dangerous receiver in the National Football League, Tyreek Hill, and he was going up against a shockingly underachieving Rams defense, coached by our guy Wade Phillips. Now 23rd in points allowed in the NFL. That shocks me, because I thought going into the year they'd be top 5. And they're also 23rd in third downs allowed. So let's frame the instant classic with what Patrick Mahomes was throwing against. So big picture, again, I'm just speaking and spitting the truth. Patrick Mahomes stunk it up last night. In the end, that was an instant disaster for that young quarterback, because you can't do any of that. And speaking of young quarterbacks, if I can go all the way to the 41-year-old quarterback, if last night on that stage, Tom Brady had done exactly what Patrick Mahomes did, throw for 478 with 5 horrendous turnovers, you would be calling for Tom Brady to hang him up today, like quit today. So would the NFL world, the Brady hate out there, straight Brady hate. But if Tom Brady had done that, people would be outraged.
Yeah, if he could.
Say,
He can't, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He threw for 505 in the Super Bowl.
How many
That's the
touchdowns?
all-time playoff
How many
record.
touchdowns?
I don't care how many touchdowns. He put up 33.
And he got the same thing
against
Mahomes
the top
got.
5 defense.
Same thing Mahomes got, the L.
Yeah, well,
I'm out of business now. I closed my restaurant.
He committed 1 turnover in that game. Patrick Mahomes had 5. Let us count the ways he had those 5, if we could, please. First one comes with 2 minutes left in the first half. Aaron Donald, as you point out, strip sack and scoop and score. And again, that was at a point where it's a football game, and it ends up tied at halftime. And then 13:38 left in the third quarter. Aaron Donald gets him again, and this time it's 23-all. And here we go again. And that was the most horrendous turnover because that was 1st and 10 at the Rams' 25. Ecuscom, he's right in Patrick Mahomes' face, and Mahomes sees him, so he's on his eye side,
Right.
and you just got to protect the football. You can't try that throw,
Right.
and that gets batted up in the air, and obviously Marcus Peters catches that one. And then the last interception, you still got a chance. You still got 25 seconds left. I thought they were going to at least get a field goal attempt, and he threw his worst interception because I have no idea who he's throwing the last one to.
Okay, let me refute that. But here's the thing, Skip. You said, okay, you Irving, one-on-one with Aaron Donald? Why? On the first, I get it. The first one, Skip, great play. But why would the offensive lineman try? Do you know how much tape and those big gloves that they have on? You're not picking the ball up. Just fall on it. Second, at some point in time, Skip, Aaron Donald, these guys get paid. You say you can't play defense because everything is catered to the offense. You got to make your plays. And Aaron Donald made his play. Justin Houston made those plays. You have to give those guys credit. At some point in time, they want to be heard from.
By the way, quick point of order. Do you realize Ndamukong Suh played 90% of the snaps last night and registered 1 unassisted tackle, not a solo tackle, 1 unassisted. He was out there all night, and I didn't notice him one time. I didn't even know he played.
Yeah.
I told you. I mean,
He's
Aaron-
still making $14 million.
yeah, he's making that money, but I mean, look, you saw the 2 best defensive tackles in football last night. One plays for the Chiefs and Chris Jones, and the other is Aaron Donald. Those are the 2 best DTs in football. And Skip, and look, I get it. There was the game. Jared Goff was not without liability. Also, he turned the ball over, had 2 horrendous turnovers. Also,
He did?
and you can't turn the ball over. But I want to give the defense credit because there was some hitting going on out there. But the problem I had at the end, Skip, why would Tyreek Hill play hero ball in that situation? Skip, the ball was 2 yards deep in the end zone on a punt. Johnny Hecker punted it 68 yards. If Tyreek Hill Skip. Now, all of a sudden, basically it's sideline throws, and Pat Mahomes got a little anxious. He needs to do a better job of protecting the football, because if you look on every strip sack, how did he have the ball? One hand. You know when you're in the pocket, Skip, you got to secure that. The most important thing in the pocket is ball security. And, you know, he got a little careless with the ball.
He's a young gunslinger, and he gets reinforced by the world because the world wants to see him gunsling, and he does not protect the football.
Skip, let's put this in context. Your boy Tom Brady has 17 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Pat Mahomes has 17 and 4.